Hello everybody and welcome once again to my next blog post. My name is Alan Chisco. I'm a motion graphics artist. Alright, today we're going to take a look at a little bit of a technical issue with regards to Max to AE conversion to After Effects projects. Often what happens when you're creating your project in 3D Studio Max, you bring it into After Effects, but you've got this problem where any layers that you have in your 3D space in After Effects have to be really scaled down, like to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4%. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where that happens and why that happens in 3D Studio Max, and the easy fix that you can do to make sure that things work out well on the After Effects side. So let's go over to 3D Studio first. Now I've got this little project that I set up. Simple little project where the camera just sort of moves down there and it goes past there, and you've got this little purple thing right here. Okay, this purple thing is the helper layer for Max to AE right here. I've already applied it and everything. This particular project, when it was set up, I didn't do the world space. It was created somewhere else, and I'm just using it as is. Okay. So what I do, of course, if you're familiar with Max to AE, is you first create a helper layer. You put it into your scene wherever you want, so that you'll have a reference for the camera and for the layer in After Effects. And then you go down to here to Scene IO. You could also just export them with these buttons here, but I'm assuming that you're familiar with Max to AE at this point. But in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Export Scene, just like that. Okay, I'm going to choose where I'm going to save my the BLI file, which is the Boomer Labs interchange file. I'm just going to call this Scale 1. Save, and then I'm going to check to make sure everything's right. Yeah, looks good, and I'm going to export to the file. Okay, so over to After Effects now. I'm going to go to, this is just a blank project, but I'm going to go to File, Scripts, oops, there we go, and BLIF Import. Okay, I'm going to bring the BLI file into After Effects. And I'm going to hit OK here. That's all there. Import layers as comps, yes, and hit Go. All right, so here is the resulting composition that we brought in. I'll just zoom out one so that we can see where we are. And you can see it's got the same movement. It comes sailing through here, and we end up with this helper layer that we had. I haven't rendered the actual fishing rod file yet there. But pretend it's there. So that's all fine and dandy. We've got our camera, we've got all our keyframes for our camera, the rotations going on, everything looks great, perfect. But if we go about, well, we'll back up a little bit here, right to about there. Take a look. You should even be able to see this even with the compression on this post, but you can see it's super soft. Okay. Now, let me illustrate what's going on here. Okay. I'm going to create another solid. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to make this solid 3D. I'm going to click on the helper layer, and I'm going to hit UU. Okay, that's going to, whenever you hit UU when you've got a layer selected, it's only going to show you the parameters that have been modified. In this case, it's going to show me the position and the orientation for the helper layer. And this came out of 3D Studio Max via Max AE. I'm going to copy those. Okay, you may not know this, but if you don't have any keyframes, you can still copy it. Click on the word, and it selects the I bar. Hold down Shift to click the other one, and it selects the I bar. Hit copy. I'm going to select my yellow here, and I'm going to paste it. Now, you'll recall when I created the layer, you could see the bounding box that represented the layer here. Let me just zoom out here so you can see what's going on. Look at that. I've zoomed out all the way in After Effects, and you can see that this layer is just huge right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the S key. Right now it's at 100% scale. I can't see, you know, it doesn't look like it's supposed to look like, so I'm going to scale down, and I'm going to scale down. Oh, there we go. All right, I'm going to move along here just so we can see a little bit better. Okay, I've scaled down, and now I have my solid at the size that I want it to be visually within my scene. But look what I had to do. I had to change the scale of that object to 4%. Okay, so visually it works. That's fine. I could do it this way, but you run into a few problems when you have to compensate by making the scale so small. One, it's really difficult to play around with scrubbing the scale here. You may also have problems moving the layers depending on whether you've overcompensated or undercompensated. It's a real pain to move stuff around. But the big issue actually comes if you've got shadows in your scene. if you've got shadows, when you're scaled this small and all of the After Effects objects in this scene are so small, you're going to get really, really wonky shadows. So basically what you want to do here is you want to have all of your After Effects layers at 100%, but the After Effects world space doesn't work that way. If everything's at 100%, you can't see it. So here's the secret. Go back over to 3D Studio Max here, and we're going to take a look at, I've still got the helper layer selected. We'll go down here, we'll go down here. Okay, visually this looks like where I want it to be, and I go down to this little thing right here. Global scale. Now global scale defaults to 1.0. Okay. Now if you look below it, here's a key. Here's the hint that something may be amiss here. Okay. The width in pixels is 28.73, and the height in pixels is 19.04. Okay. Now we want this to be, if you look at this scene here, I'll just maximize it here, relative to the scene, you don't want to be 28 by 19 pixels. You probably want that to be like, I don't know, 500 or 600 width by 400 or 500 height, right? So the fix for this is you go up to this little box here called global scale. Okay, now watch what happens when I change the numbers here. Watch what happens to the width in pixels. I'm going to change this to 2. Okay, they got bigger. I'm going to change it to 4. They got bigger. Now it's getting up there. Okay, change to 6. Okay, it's getting bigger than that. Now I happen to know, because of this project, that the ideal number for me in this case is the global scale I want to change to 26. When I do that, you can see that the width is now 746 by 495. Now, when I'm deciding what the global scale is going to be, my general rule of thumb, and this is not based on anything, it's just based on my experience, is that I want the width and the height of my helper layer to be approximately the size of the composition that I'm going to be working with in After Effects. In this case, I'm just doing a DV size, which is 720 by 480, so 746 by 495. Yeah, that's close enough. That's why I chose a global scale of 26. Okay. Now I'm going to go back down here to Export Scene again, and I'm going to just change the name of this to Global Scale 26. And we'll change the name of the composition to scale 26. Yeah, everything else looks right. Export to file. Back to After Effects we go. I'm just going to create a new folder here, and I'm going to drop this stuff in here just so we don't get confused. And I'm going to go back up to File, Scripts, BLIF Import. Change it to scale 26 is what I want to import now. Okay. And import layers as comps, hit go. There's our scenes and everything. I'm going to double click on my scale 26 composition. Now it looks exactly the same as what we were working with before. Okay, it comes scooping along there and the camera comes along. But the difference is that when I create a solid here, change it to a 3D layer, select my helper layer, UU to show me the changed parameters, which is the position and the orientation, copy that, select the solid here, and paste. There you go. If I hit the S key to see what the scale is 100. I didn't have to scale it down to 4%. Okay, so the world space that we've got in After Effects now, like the global pixel world, I don't even know what the technical term for it is, the global pixel world space-ness of the thing is now visually and I guess you could say mathematically, that's probably wrong, mathematically identical to what we've got in our 3D Studio Max scene as well, right? So now we can work in After Effects with everything at some regular scales. Moving stuff around as far as positioning stuff is going to be fine. Orbiting around with the camera and such, that's all going to be more normal. It's not going to be slow and scudgy. But most important, you're not going to have really wacky shadows if you've got a scene where multiple objects in After Effects are casting shadows. So there you go. That's global scale in using the Max to AE conversion tool for going from 3D Studio Max to After Effects. Quite an important thing to know. And the width in pixels and the height in pixels, that's the key to the whole thing. So thanks for watching again. My name is Alan Schisko. You can check out more at my website at effector.ca. Hope this was helpful to some folks out there, and happy designing.